forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack make it backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the vital speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown from the bay.
The episode Safe House aired on A&E in June of 2014. It was about the March 2013 murder of Jamaican-born Donovan Reed. He was killed on the porch of his Oak Cliff home. In his house, police would find nearly $1 million.
Dallas police look for a killer. While you were sleeping, someone opened fire on two men in the 3700 block of Wendelken Street in South Dallas.
One man died, the second was injured and rushed to Baylor Medical Center.
A call last night from one of my fellow detectives. The individual he knows called him up.
Well, tell me what you know. We're gonna go in, we're gonna go in shooting.
In 2014, a seemingly unidentified man would implicate another on a national televised crime series filming in a city. Then all hell would break loose in Dallas.
For us, shows like The First 48, well, they're entertainment, but this A&E show that tracks homicide investigations is very real, and one episode turned into a real problem for a Dallas man who says he now fears for his life. News 8's Tanya Iser has the story.
First 48 is a show that documents real murder investigations.
They're gonna go in shooting.
A show that Dallas attorney Don Tittle says nearly got his client shot to death. We are not revealing the identity of Tittle's client because his life is still in danger.
With my client, they did a half-hearted job of trying to conceal his identity, and they've got to know the risk involved when you're talking about matters like this.
Tittle filed suit against the production company Kirkstall Road Enterprises on Tuesday. We are further blurring the images of Tittle's client to protect his identity. The episode Safe House aired on A&E in June of 2014. It was about the March 2013 murder of Jamaican-born Donovan Reed. He was killed on the porch of his Oak Cliff home. In his house, police would find nearly $1 million inside his safe.
Get a call last night from one of my fellow detectives. The individual he knows called him up.
That's Tittle's client sitting in the interview room. He says the editing of the show falsely portrays his client as having willingly come forward when in fact police had tracked him down.
Well, tell me what you know.
He tells the detective that an acquaintance told him they'd broken into Reed's place to rob him.
They're gonna go in shooting.
Within literally minutes of the episode airing, he began to receive death threats.
Hours after reporting to police that he had been threatened, he was shot 4 times in front of this barbershop on Metropolitan Avenue, and he nearly died.
I think ultimately it was good TV and he was expendable. That's about all the concern they gave to it.
After Tittle's client was shot, the episode was removed from A&E's website. But it was too late for his client, who still has the bullets in his body. Tanya Iser, Channel 8 News.
I ain't the one who shot him. I ain't the one who shot him. I ain't the one who hit him the night before in the club. I ain't. Look, me and this dude, I don't think me and this dude I had was verbal altercation. That's it. We just done been getting into it. It ain't nothing been physical. I ain't been physical with this dude. Why would I retaliate? Why would I retaliate for something that I don't even know about? I was incarcerated when all that erred and all that, so I ain't even know nothing about none of that. I was incarcerated. I was in the penitentiary when all this happened. So all this, I'm trying to retaliate and I got something against him. No, it ain't that. When the first 48 aired and all that, I don't know nothing about none of that. Like, only because he run to the police and tell them and they go off of that, I don't know. Like, I didn't shoot him. I didn't hit him the night before in the club. Yeah, I was there in the club when he got hit. Did I see him get hit? No, it was too crowded and too dark. So I didn't see him get hit. All I know is we walked out the club and he was like, shit, that's him right there. So Law, the officer arrested me and some type of way they let me go because he ran or he went out or whatever. And that's it. Like, I don't know what he got against me or what, but I ain't the one who shot him. I ain't the one who shot him. I ain't the one who hit him.
Were you at the, where were you when the shooting happened?
I was on Collins. Like, the stuff that he said, like, I don't really know, cause I've been in here, so I don't know what he's saying or what the situation is or whatever, but I ain't the one who shot him.
How long have you known him for?
We from the same neighborhood. So, I don't know, some years.
Do you know Clint Stoker at all?
We from the same neighborhood.
Were you upset at him for going on and talking about it?
I don't even know what Stoker locked up for. I don't, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, when all this happened, I was in the penitentiary. I don't know nothing about none of this. I didn't know that the country and, Jones and Stoker had problems or none of that. I don't know nothing about none of this. Like, I don't know nothing about they beef or what. I ain't got access to talk to Stokers or nothing. Like, I don't know where all this stuff coming from. It's just. Have I ever called him a snitch? Yeah, I done said it before, but that verbal, like, I got a freedom of speech. That just like if I call you a punk, I got the right to say you a punk. If I want to, it's the freedom of speech. Long as I don't come threatening you, putting my hands on you, then I ain't did nothing wrong. True or false, sir?
Do you think that he was a snitch?
I don't know. If he is, he is. If he is, how will I ever know? The police ain't gonna come tell me, say, yeah, he worked for us. So if you messing with him, we gonna do this. I don't understand. I ain't even seen the first 4 days show. Like, I ain't even seen what they got going on or none of that.
Well, did you ever consider him a friend or anything?
Man,
No. I'm a lawyer, no.
Even mentioning Deon 21 Bell's name and death would carry repercussions. And a prime example of this would be 6 months after his murder, when his name would be thrusted into the spotlight in one of the most public ways possible, when on June 9th, 2014, the First 48 would air an episode titled Safe House, recounting the murder of a Jamaican South Dallas drug dealer by the name of Donovan Reed, 21, who had already became known for his audacious robberies of high-level drug dealers and a flashy lifestyle, would be implicated in this specific episode by a witness by the name of R. King Jones. Now, for Jones, speaking 21's name, despite the belief that his identity was concealed, would come with devastating consequences. His face blurred and his voice was altered, but for those who knew him, recognized him instantly. And according to R. King Jones, what will follow the airing of that First 48 episode would be a nightmare of threats that will escalate to violence, that will escalate to near death, with the fallout from this episode that would run during season 15, being episode number 9, so severe that it was immediately pulled from every platform, including A&E's website, and still remains unavailable today. But Donovan Reed's case wouldn't be the first time that 21's name would surface in a murder. 2 years before his own death, 21 would be connected to the brutal killing of another alleged drug dealer by the name of Alton Marshall. Now, on the night of July 8th, 2011, Alton Marshall, a 38-year-old suspected drug dealer, would leave a gambling house at 3116 South Harwood Street in South Dallas. Now, according to authorities, that house will become known for high-stake gambling games as well as what they called shady dealings, and was built like a fortress, said to be fortified with bars on its windows and doors. Now, on the night of July 9th, witnesses will report that Marshall walked to his car which was located in the rear parking lot, when two unidentified men would approach him. They would proceed to force Alton Marshall into his own car at gunpoint and drive off. Marshall's family would grow concerned when he would fail to return home and begin searching for answers. His wife would head to the gambling house where she believed him to be the very next day, where people would reportedly give conflicting stories about his whereabouts. His family wouldn't worry too long after Marshall's body was found later that day in the trunk of his car at an apartment complex located on Highland Village Drive in East Oak Cliff, with the Dallas County Medical Examiner's Office listing the cause of his death as pending. But with him being found in his own trunk, investigators would classify the case as a homicide, and Deon 21 Bell's name would immediately pop up in the investigation, as even to the police at that time, he had an MO for robbing drug dealers and high-value targets. And according to Detective Sarasso, at the time of his death, 21 would be suspected as the person responsible for orchestrating the crime. However, fear of retaliation and lack of direct evidence would stall the investigation, leaving Alton Marshall's murder still unsolved to this day. Fast forward nearly 2 years later to March 17, 2013, when 49-year-old Donovan Reed, who authorities believe was a prominent drug dealer, was killed on the front porch of his South Dallas home during an apparent robbery. Witnesses would report hearing gunfire at the residence that was located on Redbird Street and call the police. When officers would arrive, they would find Reed dead on the scene from multiple gunshot wounds. Inside Donovan Reed's home, investigators would discover two large safes. Combined, the safes would contain over $900,000 in cash, along with detailed drug ledgers that documented marijuana sales totaling over $28 million, spanning the prior 11 years. About a year or so would pass from the murder when A&E would decide to feature the investigation on the first 48. During the episode, R. King Jones, seemingly an unidentifiable witness, would recount a conversation that he would have with a guy by the name of Clint Stoker. According to Jones, Stoker would confess as being part of the robbery and go as far as name Deon 21 Bell as the mastermind. On camera, Jones would explain to detectives, quote, 21 in them, they're some killers, and how R. King Jones explains it in his lawsuit against the first 48, the show wasn't even off the air before he and his mother would start to receive death threats almost immediately, and over the next year, he would be harassed, robbed, and eventually shot 4 times, allegedly, by Michael Scott, who y'all heard from earlier, an alleged associate of 21 and Clint Stoker. Jones would survive the shooting, and as I mentioned, he would later go on to file a lawsuit against the production company behind the first 48, alleging that they failed to protect his identity properly. Kimball Productions, the organization behind the show The First 48, would win the lawsuit, but the controversy surrounding the episode, like I explained earlier, would lead them to pull it from all platforms, including A&E's website. And even till this day, Safe House remains unviewable, a rare move for a show that often thrives on exposing real-life crime investigations. And as for Deon 21 Bell, on December 20th, 2013, less than a year after Donovan Reed's high-profile murder, he was killed himself while sitting in a Chrysler on Wendelken Street, located near SM Wright Freeway in South Dallas. According to police, an unidentified gunman would approach the car and open fire, fatally shooting Deon 21 Bell, as well as wounding his unknown companion, who was also in the car but would survive with serious injuries. The unknown survivor would report to the police that he believed the attack was a robbery, with the investigators taking the belief that 21 was the intended target of that robbery. Gang Unit Detective Gregory Sarasso would say at the time of 21's death, he was under investigation for multiple crimes, including his alleged involvement in several robberies, as well as the murder of Alton Marshall, saying that he believed that 21 was on the verge of being indicted in several of the cases he was suspected in. And according to the detective, despite his notorious reputation in the city of Dallas, in his own neighborhood, he was pretty much known as a family man, leaving behind 6 children and a wife. And as for R. King Jones, the star witness on the first 48, apparently everything that he got into during this case didn't teach him anything, as he would also end up as a witness in the high-profile murder of former Texas Tech basketball star Andre Emmett. Now, for the people like me that happen to have a chance to see that first 48 episode, y'all get in the comment box to let me know that I ain't crazy. And for those that didn't have a chance to see it, I just want to tell y'all that that was probably the best episode ever. Shit, I'ma just put it like this. What other episode that you seen where they found anything close to nearly $900,000 in a safe? That shit was crazy. Y'all make sure y'all hit the red bell and subscribe button right under this video so y'all know when this real trail spill shit is dropping. Y'all get in the comment box below. Y'all let me know what cities we need to go to, what stories we need to tell, what we missed, what we got wrong, all of that. Y'all tapping with me directly on Instagram, Twitter, POP_A_LOT. And until the next play, y'all know how we rocking. Shades Popalot. Salute the almighty Mobb.